Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, January 27th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and SPY. So let's start with right off the bat. You got to take what M did with a grain of salt. The market had a good week. We closed up about $10 on the week in SPY. We're above the weekly and the daily trend line for now. We're above the 200 to 50 and the 20 for moving averages. So don't think just because M flushed, it's over for the buyers, okay? So we got to take that. We always talk about that. M is more important on Monday than it is today. All you did was flush out some lagged longs late in the day. That's number one. Let's go over the other ones first. I am going to go over all of these three indices charts. Some things are changing. Triple Qs. Now, a lot of times what didn't happen is as important as what did happen. Well, triple Qs attempted to hold single prints in E, F, I, J, K, and L. Gave them all back. Now, again, that doesn't mean it's over. But that is, what doesn't happen, what didn't hold is just sometimes as important as what does. Keep that in mind. We also got very close to we got above the previous 2 months highs. We'll go over that. So they end up with nothing. Well, actually, they did hold H's low. So they have an afternoon pullback, the day's low and high. Russell. Pull high. And that's it. They have no pullback, no nothing. They have the day's high and low. For us, same thing. Day's high, day's low. We had an afternoon pullback in H. They took it back. We also failed to hold trend. We held to fail trend briefly in B, and then again in J, and again in K. So we didn't hold the trend day. Volume light on the day, but again, a good week for the markets. Now look, despite my absolute inability, these last 3 days did the same thing, and I did not take advantage of it. Okay? Here's Wednesday. Tried to go lower, rejected, went trend up, and just kept going. Thursday. Tried to go lower, rejected, up, probe. Today, opened, pushed up. I'm like, okay, today they're going to really just get going from the upside from the get-go. Look at C and D. But this time they didn't even take out the IB low like they did here. Okay, like they did here. So they couldn't even take it out, and then they decided to get going. Now, despite my inability to reap the benefits of that, I had a good week. So I'm not going to complain. It's just a function of continuing to work on it. Okay? So I didn't do much in the afternoon today. I was actually short in a period against the base of the price probe. Then I was short initially against yesterday's high. I got paid on my shorts in A period. So that was good. I got paid on 2 out of 3 longs in B period. Took a small loss on one when it came in, but I had a decent B period. And I made money on a long in C. Then the market, D didn't do much. E, I did take a long in F to pop E's high. I thought that we hadn't taken out the IB high or low yet. So I'm like, well, I don't know if we're going to get the high, but at least it looked like I want to have some energy. Took the long, popped E's high, did well on that. And then I took a short in H to stop the one-time framing up, which worked. It was a small one, but it paid. Now, I didn't do anything on this whole move up. I didn't know if I did tell the room I'd be surprised if we blew through 4,100 and hold trend. Well, I was clearly wrong for a good part of J, K, and L. Now, I didn't buy it, and I didn't short it either because I'm like, well, right now we're above it. Now, Qs. SPY filled the single print trend day from back in December 13th. ES did not. ES left 2 points up here. So they did get above 4,100 by a full point, or just about. But then M just, again, took it back. But again, that I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that either. I just didn't think we were going to hold the trend. I thought we'd hang around the 4,100 level. So I was a little surprised by that. So I didn't do any trading after H period. Again, still a good week, and again, still something constantly to work on. We have price vacuum for today, obviously, because all we have is the day's high and the low. So in SPY, we have, which is now a weekly high, and with 2 days to go, a monthly high, 408.16 to the upside. Then above that, we have last month's high of 410.49, 411.08 afternoon rally high from September 2nd of last year, and 411.73. That's the big important monthly high. That's the one you want to get over. For the downside, 403.44 is today's low. Then we don't have anything to 401.60 afternoon pullback low from yesterday. And then 400.03 daily low. And then the single prints from yesterday that you should have. In ES, downside, 61.75 is today's low. And then you should have everything I gave you from yesterday on the downside. For the upside, we have 09.25, which is a weekly high right now, and actually a monthly high with 2 days to go. And then we have single prints that is still alive at 09.50 to 11.25, and then 41 is the monthly high. Now, let's go to these charts and see what's going on here. You know, we talked about, I told them this morning too with the market, no matter what numbers come out, the market's trying to go higher. So unless it's something really out of whack, whatever the algos do, they're going to go back to what they were doing. And, you know, it's funny because somebody who I respect a lot in my room, and we've been talking about, you know, I have tough times with these grinds and stuff. And he simply said, you've been saying now all week, the market's trying to go higher. Basically saying, get involved on the side that you said the market's going. 100% right. 100% right. Now, let's go to our charts. And then I'm going to show you something on volume with a couple other stocks that kind of shows you where long-term money is getting in or out. So here's Russell. Look at Russell trying to creep to their balance high. This is a 5-month balance high right now. Okay? Today they got to 190.30. We didn't close above 190, but we got up to 190.30. So we made a new high over the last 5 months. But to me, it's still balanced. That's not acceptance at all. So the monthly is still in balance, but boy, oh boy, are they trying to get legs and get going. Okay? Weekly is up. It's one-time framing up 4 weeks in a row now. So the weekly is healthy in the Russell. And then on the daily, up. We came out of 3-day balance yesterday, up, continue up. We got, these are those monthly highs we're talking about. Okay? And weekly highs. So, again, they popped their head above 190. We'll see if they get continuation. So the monthly is balanced. The weekly is up. The daily is up in the Russell. Triple Qs, monthly. Balance. But look what they did. They did take out last month's high. Now, balance rules are in effect. In fact, let me go back to Russell real quick. Balance rules are more important than gap rules. So please understand that. So what have we done so far in Russell now? We've slightly stretched the last 5 months balance to the upside. So you're going to have to give them leeway because it's a monthly. It's not a daily, not a week. It's a monthly. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they can come out of the monthly to the upside after the Fed. That's why next week is so important with the Fed, with non-farm payroll, and obviously the other big tech earnings. So right now, balance rules are in effect on the monthly. Look at that. Now go back to Qs. Same thing. They slightly took out last month's high by $1.50. Close back in it for now. Am I calling the monthly up now? Of course not. Monthly is still balanced. So again, really important. Balance rules. That's going to go for all of us. Weekly, up. And then the daily, and the weekly is one-time framing of 4 weeks, just like Russell. And the daily, up. And look at that. They were the last ones to do it, but they finally got above the 200-day moving average. And they're above it by about $4. So nice job. And don't forget, they held their gap from the other day. Look at the 20 curling. So they're the same as Russell. Now let's go to us. And before I say that, I really appreciate the likes, the comments, and more importantly, subscribing to this YouTube channel. I really do. And I'd love for you to come check us out at CallenbackTrading.org because we really, really walk you through what's happening on a daily basis. It's not about my trading. It's about what the market's attempting to do or not do. Look at us now. Well, we're doing the same thing Russell and Q's are, aren't we? We're coming to a top of a balance. But one thing, we haven't gotten to it yet. My balance high is September's high, 411.73. We didn't even get last month's high yet at 410.49. We got 408.16. So think about the balance rules. Right now, Q's and Russell are stretching their balance highs a little bit to the upside. That's one balance rule. We're getting close to a balance high. That's another balance rule. What's the third balance rule? You go through a balance and don't look back. I have no idea what it's going to do, but right now we are really testing it up there. So the monthly is balance. Weekly, up. One time frame up 4 weeks out of an inside week, and we're above the lower high trend line from all last year. Does 1 week make a market? Shit, no. Not a shot. I don't care if we're above it next week going into Fed. You want to know when I want to be above this? A week from today. When we recap next week, if we're still above this trend line, that would tell you two things. Well, not necessarily. We could still take out last week's low and then close above it. However, what you'd like to see is not to take out last week's low and close above this line. So you would still have the one-time framing, okay, on the weekly. But 1 week certainly doesn't make a market. And then on the daily, up. Came out of a 3-day balance, up. Look at this, though. Those are two important highs. That's last month's high, 410.49. Okay? The important one to me, though, is September's, which is right here. That's the important one on the monthly. That would tell you you're coming out of balance on the monthly. If you do that, well, things could really be changing. So just like being 2 weeks over that trend line doesn't mean much, 1 week, 2 days doesn't mean much to me. We went back and forth through it 3 days above it. I am really curious to see how next week closes to see if this market really is going to start exploding to the upside or this is one big head fake. Look at the averages. Look how close we are. You can't get any closer than that. You rarely see that in the ES and SPY. So we are within now $2.22 from the 200 to the 20. Now I want to show you one other thing. Tesla exploded out of their earnings yesterday, right? Look at Tesla. Look at Tesla's volume today. It's over 300 million. People always ask, do you know if there's long-term money in this and that? It's tough to tell a lot of times in the indices. Now, Tesla averages 175, 180 million a day. Well, they blew through that today with 304. They did 234 million yesterday. So they blew out of a 3-day balance with good earnings or perceived good earnings. That's institutional money coming in. That's not short-term trading. That's institutional money coming in. On the flip side, look at Intel. Okay? Intel's averaging 34 million so far this year. They did 148 million today. Do you think that's short-term money selling Intel? Absolutely not. That's long-term sticky money saying, well, that's dead money. That's dead stock. I want out. They came out of balance. Beautiful looking candle yesterday. Boy, did that shit the bed. Boom. Now, generally, now they closed pretty much unchanged on the day. How is that possible? They're showing Intel. Oh, no, I'm looking at the after hours. Down 6.5%. Now, when a stock gets beat up like that, please don't think you can catch a bottom, okay? Generally, when funds and hedge funds and money managers say this is dead money, you're going to get follow-through to the downside most likely. Okay, now if you like Intel and you want it for a long-term play, okay, I don't have a problem with you buying some. But just keep in mind, even for a trade, doesn't mean they won't go test lower here. Look at this balance we had back here in December. I would say there's a good chance they can go test that. Now, that's not that much further away. That's 25.35. Today we got to 26.78 and then closed above 28. But don't think this thing is just going to go back to $30. It generally should not, because the long-term money will still sell it for days and possibly weeks to come. Hope that helps. I hope you had a great day and a great week trading. Enjoy your evening. I know it's a long video, but I hope it helps you. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.